All right, folks. Well, Donald Trump is currently bringing Vivek Ramaswamy and a couple people on the stage right now at his rally in Laconia, New Hampshire. I'm sitting right here watching it. Figured we might as well hit the record button, watch it together, talk about it. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen.
So I just want to introduce to you for just a few seconds a few people that have been incredible on the campaign trail. They've been really good, and they'll have a lot to do with what's happening in the country over the next 4 years, and I'm sure long beyond that. Vivek, please come here. Vivek Ramaswamy.
I love you back. It's good to be back here. We will speak the truth and get this done. We are in the middle of a war in this country. It's not between black and white or even between most Democrats and Republicans. It is between those of us who love this country and a fringe minority who hates the United States of America and what we stand for. Between the permanent state and the everyday citizen. And right now we need a commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory in this war. That is this man standing right here. If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to defeat the deep state, vote Trump. If you want to fight inflation, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive our national identity in this country, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. That's how we're going to win this in a landslide in November, like Reagan delivered in 1980. That's what we're going to deliver, and Donald Trump is going to deliver this November. Reunite this country. You guys do your part. Come out on Tuesday night. End this primary right here, off to defeat Joe Biden in November, and our best days as a nation are still yet ahead of us. Vote Trump, and that's how we do this. God bless you and your families and our United States. Vote Trump.
Thank you very much. Vivek, we love him. Dynamo. He's a dynamo. So one of the most respected governors in the country, brilliant guy, made a lot of money, and then he said, let me run for office. We know about that.
It's funny. There's like subtly a VP tryout going on right now as he brings everyone on the stage. Just pointing that out. And it's not just a VP tryout. It's also for cabinet positions, maybe a press secretary, stuff like that. But yeah, he's about to bring, I guess, Doug Burgum on the stage, which, yes, Doug. I still don't know much about him, but we love the eyebrows, so props to Doug Burgum.
And he is truly from North Dakota and done really an incredible job. And he's a friend of mine, become a friend of mine, and a really good one. Doug Burgum. Doug.
When I became governor, it was the same night that Donald Trump was elected back in November 16, and the world changed because I've had an opportunity to serve under Joe Biden as president and Donald Trump. When Donald Trump was president, our nation was safe and our nation was prosperous. Joe Biden, his weakness has led to war. His weakness and his appeasement has led to our adversaries like Iran and Russia making hundreds of billions of dollars selling oil to China. Economy, energy, national security, those are all three tied together. There's one candidate in this race that understands how to make our nation more secure, our nation more prosperous. It's the person who did it when he was president before. That's Donald J. Trump. Biden has been a disaster on the economy, he's been a disaster on energy, and he's been a disaster on national security, including the border. Under Donald J. Trump, our cities were safer, our country was safer, and we were absolutely economically better off than we are now. Joe Biden's energy policies are empowering our dictators, and they're hurting our economy. They're raising the prices of what you pay for gas in your car, food on your table, and energy to heat your homes. We need Donald Trump. America needs Donald Trump, and the reason why we do is because he's the individual that knows how to solve these problems. He knows how to keep America safe. He knows how to make us more prosperous. And I want to tell you, I've got an ask for all of you in New Hampshire. I've met a lot of you campaigning around the state, but the ask is this. Tomorrow, you've got to get out and bring your friends. You've got to bring everybody and vote, because the eyes of the world are on New Hampshire tomorrow. They're going to be looking at how you vote. We end this primary tomorrow in New Hampshire with a fantastic win. And guess what? It's not just America. It's every foreign dictator. It's every terrorist group is going to be rethinking their plans when they know we've got a strong and experienced president who will stand up to them and bring America and make America great again. Thank you.
Let's go,
Thank
Doug.
you very much, Doug.
Doug and Vivek. What a duo.
They did a very good job, didn't they? You'll be seeing a lot of them, and we have another one. Everybody knows him, and today was a big story, the biggest story out there. He's engaged to be married. We never thought this was going to happen. What's going on? A very, very fine person, a man that we work so closely, and I work so closely with. He was in the Senate. He's been there now a long time, and one of the most respected people in all of Washington, Senator Tim Scott, South Carolina.
All right, all right, all right. If you want 4 more years of Donald Trump, let me hear you scream. If you want the race to be over tomorrow, let me hear you scream. All right. How many of y'all want 4 more years of low inflation under Donald Trump? How many of y'all want 4 more years of low crime and high law and order under Donald J. Trump? How many of y'all want me to stop talking so you can hear from your next president, Donald J. Trump? 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years.
So look, we're gonna listen to some of Trump's speech, because he's made some points about Nikki Haley I thought were very important, but just want to point this out here. So you may look at the crowd that's on the stage right now and just see, oh, there's just a bunch of random people who endorse Trump. No, you're missing the point here, right? These are all former candidates in the 2024 GOP primary, if you'll remember. Way back when, I know everyone remembers Vivek, but Tim Scott ran for president, Doug Burgum ran for president, obviously Vivek, and DeSantis also yesterday endorsed Donald Trump. I wish he was on that stage right now. I know it's probably still some time to, repair the relationship, but that's probably the only missing piece still not there right now. But contrast that to Nikki Haley, right? Even if you're not the biggest fan of all of these candidates. I know Doug Burgum, we kind of always make this joke that his eyebrows are amazing. Honestly, I don't know much about the guy. Tim Scott, I'm kind of lukewarm on, and I will say over the course of his presidential campaign, for the most part, I would say he slightly improved my opinion of him. But honestly, like I said, I just kind of am apathetic towards the guy. Obviously like Vivek a lot, but that's not the point. The point is that everyone else who is running in this race right now is behind Trump. And then look on the other side at Nikki Haley. Are any of the former presidential candidates endorsing Nikki? No. Even Chris Christie, the one ally you think she might have, logically speaking, I don't think I have to explain why that is, but even Chris Christie, if you remember, got caught on that hot mic. Not even, basically, he was bashing Nikki Haley. He was saying she's done, she has no chance. And of course, he since has not campaigned with Nikki. So you look at all the allies Trump has. Again, politically speaking, I think it's all good. You want every former candidate to get behind you. It's strong for the primary. It's also a strong thing for the general election. Again, even if you're not the biggest fan of each of these people, it's important for the political purposes. Nikki Haley, on the other hand, can't even get Chris Christie to campaign for her. So just want to point that out. All right, with that said, he does say some things about Nikki Haley I do want to talk about, and then we'll, cut off this video. But take a listen to the things he says next.
4 more years. Thank you, fellas. Great people. They are great people.
And by the way, one more thing I'll say is maybe Nikki Haley doesn't understand the optics of it. I think truthfully, like, she can't even get Chris Christie behind her, which is just a bad look. But, you know, Trump does get the optics in that sense. Like, it's a powerful look because we had a wide open primary field. Maybe not wide open, but I'll say a big primary field. And now you see, like, most of the key figures in that are campaigning for Trump. By the way, Mike Pence, I totally forgot about him. Nikki Haley can't get Mike Pence either to endorse her or campaign for her. It says a lot. It says a lot. Anyways.
Thank you very much. That's a great group of people. You'll be seeing a lot of them.
Good.
Sadly, not everyone is willing to put our country first. Here in New Hampshire, Nikki Haley has made an unholy alliance with rhinos, never Trumpers, Americans for no prosperity. Did you ever hear them? Did you ever hear them? Americans for no prosperity. I added the word no in. Globalists and radical left communists to get liberals and Biden supporters to vote for her in the Republican primary. You got a lot of Democrats voting for her. You have a crazy election. Let's all get out and let's vote for somebody that we want to run against. They want to run against because she's so easy to beat. If you look at the polls, Biden beats her by a lot. We cannot have that. We cannot.
By the way, did you guys see earlier today, she was, or I think it was yesterday actually, she was blaming, she was crying racism. She was playing the victim card. She was saying, I got bullied in the South for being a brown girl growing up, which, like, first of all, Nikki, you're not even brown. Okay? Yes, you are Indian, but you pass for white. You could easily pass for Italian. You have the same complexion as Ron DeSantis. But she goes out here speaking like Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren, and you have to ask yourself what's going on there. Why does she sound exactly like a Democrat crying, I had racism growing up. Let me attack the people of my state. Why is it? Because, folks, because that doesn't appeal to any Republican voter, right? But what is it about? She's campaigning directly to Democrats. Okay, and we'll do a video tomorrow morning talking about that further, but I just want to point that out. It's not a conspiracy theory that Nikki Haley's trying to enlist the votes of Democrats. It's literally happening, and I think when you listen to what she said there, like, she's saying it right to your face, right? So, anyways.
We cannot have gone this far and let that happen. The people behind Nikki Haley are pro-amnesty, pro-China, pro-open borders, pro-war, pro-deep state, and pro-Biden. That's not too good. Rhino is right. Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Thank you, darling. Appreciate it. She just gave me a very good idea, actually. Our movement is pro-borders, pro-jobs, pro-freedom, and it's really something that's very, like, common sense. 100% pro-America. It's very simple. We are the party of common sense, and that's what we are. You know, we're conservative, we're this, we're that. Who cares?
It's a good message.
It's all about common sense. It's about strong borders, low taxes, great education, few regulations, and we had it all. We've never had an economy in the history of our country, we never had an economy so good as it was just a few years ago. We never had a better border, a stronger border than we had. The radical left Democrats are supporting Nikki for one simple reason, because they know that she's very easy to beat. And you see that with the polls that just came out tonight. We're beating Biden by so much.
Also because they agree with her on the issues, but, you know.
Probably get indicted 3 or 4 more times by tomorrow. They're going to indict. They're going to keep indicting, and it keeps driving my numbers up. I can't figure that one out. I'm going to donate. But I believe she's not electable. Nikki Haley wants to charge the working class a 23% national sales tax. Well, and you know that. She wants to raise Social Security retirement age by approximately 10 years. Is that right? That's what... Approximately, so you can labor until the day you die and then not collect a penny of the benefits that you really have earned and you've paid for. And if you're lucky enough to live past the retirement age of 75 under Nikki Haley's plan, and she wants to raise it, and remember this about now, she says, I would never do that, but politicians always go back to their first concept, to their first.
And let me say, this whole Social Security, by the way, Donald Trump on the issue of Social Security has some of the brightest political instincts of any Republican. because a lot of Republicans have gone on the record of making stupid votes or saying very stupid things about it. And it's like, it's not a winning position to say you're going to come after people's Social Security. And I know some people will come to me saying, but Vince, that's the principled conservative argument, right? It's true. Social Security is running out of money, blah, blah, blah. I get all of that. I fully understand that. And I've made some points about that in the past. But here's the problem, especially with the way Nikki Haley frames it, is, and why it's especially rich coming from her. If Thomas Massey talked about reforming Social Security, I would say, okay, well, you're a fiscal libertarian, you're very like pro-market, small government, then that's logically consistent at least. The most insulting thing about Nikki saying she wants to raise the retirement age or come for people's Social Security, which she has said, by the way, she can come and now say she never said it, absolutely did say it, is because this is the same woman who's obsessed with funding foreign wars. She says more money for Ukraine, more money for Israel, more money for any place around the world. She said in her book about, how she was the UN ambassador, said in her book a couple years ago, she declared America will always be, I think the word she used was, quote, generous. We're always going to be generous when it comes to humanitarian aid across the world. And so it's like, okay, so, again, it's one thing to say, we need to reform social. By the way, I still don't think it's an electable position. I'll talk about that in a second. But it's one thing to say we need to reform Social Security because I'm a fiscal conservative. It's another thing to campaign on one hand saying more money for foreign countries. The foreign countries need it. But then you turn around to Americans and say, well, the Social Security that we forced you to pay into and promised you that you were going to get, nope, I guess we're going to break that promise now. There is something about that is so insulting, revolting. I think it is downright evil. It is anti-American. And by the way, let me say this, it's also unelectable. Okay, because that's Nikki Haley's argument is like, look, I'm electable. I could beat Biden. I could win over suburban moderates. Let me say this. What Nikki Haley said about Social Security is going to doom her campaign. I mean, a lot of other things are going to doom her campaign, but hypothetically, if she was in a general election, let me say that position would get her destroyed, as it has many other Republicans, because the fact of the matter is campaigning on the fact that you're going to cut people's Social Security, again, I will reiterate, is not a winning political position, especially when you consider the fact that the majority of the Republican electorate are older people, right? That's just the numbers. I'm not old, but I get it, right? Either retired people or people on the verge of retirement. And so going out there and saying that you're going to cut Social Security or cut Medicare, like that's literally just taking a dump right in the face of your own base, in the face of your own voters. And I'm pretty sure that's a cardinal rule of politics, is never campaign for policies that are bad for your base, especially. I mean, you want to do things good for all Americans, but especially the people that vote for you, you want to be taking care of them. And turning those against you, you saw it happen sometimes in 2022. I guarantee you this is how it goes. That is a terrible position. And so if I were a Republican, which I don't really plan to run for office ever, I know people want me to, but hypothetically, right, if I were to run for office, I would absolutely take the position. We're not going to cut Social Security. We're not going to change it. Now, in the future, here's the other thing, though. If you want to be a true fiscal conservative about this, what you could do in the future is make it optional, right? Say to the 20-year-olds and stuff, we're not going to mandate that you have to pay payroll tax, right? You don't have to engage in Social Security. Heck, you can even cut it off, right, from this point on in terms of paying into it for the future. But for the people, for the money that people put in and promised they were going to get at 65 years old, they absolutely should get that money, because like, it's not like the payroll tax was optional, right? You forced people to pay into Social Security under the pretense that, hey, you're going to get this money at 65. You absolutely damn well better keep that promise. So what I would do is say to the people who say, oh, well, we're running out of money for Social Security because, people are living longer, retirement age, we don't have enough young population, whatever. You know what I'd say? I'd say, fine. then take money out of somewhere else and put it into Social Security, because at least that money is going to Americans, and it's not going to lazy Americans, right? It's actually going to the people who, for the most part, work their whole life. You know, now they want to retire. It's an added bonus. You took the money out of those people's pockets directly, so you might as well give it back to them, right? So you know what I would say? I would say, okay, if we can't fund Social Security, then take money out of foreign aid. Let's cut the foreign aid, put it into Social Security, or even welfare. Right? Even the welfare, even for these, delinquents who like they don't do anything and they scam off welfare. I'd say, if anything, and by the way, those people are primarily Democrat voters. So if you want to be very Machiavellian with this, you can, but I think it's a principled thing. Take the money out of welfare and give it to the people who actually work their whole lives. You know? But those would be the truly fiscally conservative things to do. But instead, does Nikki Haley say she wants to just end the payroll tax and stop forcing people to pay into this? No, she has never once advocated to get rid of that. But she does advocate to raise the retirement age, but still force you to pay into Social Security, that absolute scam. It's insulting. It's insulting. Okay. But I did just want to play that little bit and talk about that, because that's a very important point, again, that Trump makes. And the fact that she consistently since 2016 has always said, we're not going to touch your Social Security. And I know people always say Donald Trump is unelectable. But let me say, on an issue like this, in terms of being a Republican, it gives them a huge advantage, a huge strength. Okay. And again, Republicans who take the opposite position, they're not electable. That's the truth. Okay. Nikki Haley's not going to be the nominee and not going to come close. So thank God for that. But if she did, I will say this. That clip of her saying that about Social Security, which she now denies, even though she was on tape saying it, what do you think the Democrats are going to do? They're going to run that ad over and over. And by the way, that ad would actually work. It would work. Because again, older people tend to vote more, right? They're the highest turnout in the electorate. They're also the people who tend to vote Republican. Okay, they vote Republican. So good luck with that position. All right. Anyways, folks, with that said, I'll cut off the clip here because it's gone about 20 minutes. I think we're good. I think we get the idea. But yeah, I really like a lot of Donald Trump's messaging as of late. I've been listening to the past couple rallies, you know, and he's doing this message of unity with the other Republicans and with Americans in general. I think that's very good for the election. He's also gone out and been pretty tough on Nikki Haley, even implied in a speech the other day that, hint, hint, that means she's not going to be the VP. So that's certainly good news. I was a little worried about that, but, you know, it sounds like it's not happening. But yeah, anyways, before I go, one last plug. We will be live tomorrow night. I don't know what time exactly, probably around 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time. But we will be live tomorrow night covering the results of the New Hampshire primary. So be sure to join us then. We had very good numbers for the Iowa caucus. So let's try to all carry those over. So yeah, join us tomorrow night. And until then, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Alpha Moves only. God bless. Have a very good day and peace.